I'm doing good, man.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Defend the Hustle, episode number 12. Our special guest tonight is Jim the Tech from Computer Geeks of Georgia. We have live and in color the owner of his own IT company here tonight. So if you have any questions concerning anything you got going on IT at your house, at your job, or reselling, this is the guy to ask. So get your questions together. Panda, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll give a shout out to the chat and get this show on the road. So glad to see you in the back, Tanya.
What's up, y'all? Glass City Pickers. Happy to be here with y'all this Friday night. What's going on, everybody?
Welcome back.
Yeah, man. Come to dib and dab and see what's really happening around here. You dig? I'm glad Brother Lawton came on, and we're going to see what he popping about this new technology. What's going on, baby?
That's it. You know what I'm doing. Still looking for a damn house.
In the background. So,
for a house.
Two Glass City Pickers here. eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, your block, my block, around the block, wherever we can get them dollars at. But happy to be with y'all this Friday.
All right.
Hey, what's good? Mess All Diggs in the house. Welcome back. GCP in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Mess All Diggs, YouTube, Instagram, eBay extraordinaire, man. Got eBay questions? Hit me up. I've been doing really well lately, so I got some info.
All right. And
That
for
flavor,
everyone that
that
don't know
flavor.
me, I am Buffalo Picker, part-time reseller, full-time federal employee, retired military. Like I said, tonight our special guest is Jim the Tech. This guy has his own IT business, but this is definitely not all that he do. He has several companies under that title. If you look over my shoulder back here, you see that thing changing colors in the mirror. That was made by Jim under one of his company titles, which I think is definitely a great piece of work. I mean, I was so thrilled to get that thing, and a couple people asked me about, who made it and how I got it. Well, this is the guy that made it. So if you're interested, we'll definitely be dropping his information throughout the night. So reach out to him and see what he can do for you. Because, like I said, IT is just not the only thing that he do. So let me give a shout out to the chat, and then we'll get into letting our special guest introduce himself to us and basically tell us whatever he wants us to know. So I want to give a shout out to Return of Cajun Roots Reseller. What's going on, Johnny? Appreciate you first in the chat. Betty Boot, appreciate you coming out. Thank you for the support. Lucky Charm Wendy, thank you for coming out. And I'm just going to go down just to give everybody a notification, and we're going to get this show going. Log off 1212, all in one package. Everybody know that's Miss Buffalo, Hollywood Reseller, Nita J, Frank Bullock, Char F. Appreciate you all. Thank y'all for the continued support. Mud and Ridge, fine. Sandra, thank you for coming out. Who we got here? Ella, what's going on? Ella, save here first. Jennifer Hayes, everybody know Jennifer Hayes is the moderator of the show. Ever since we kicked it off and really kind of figure out what we was doing, Jennifer helped us along the way. So appreciate you, Jennifer, and thank you for dropping that link in the chat. Who else we got in here? Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. Let's see. All right, so this is the IG Instagram link for Computer Geeks of Georgia, and definitely he if you don't have to be in Georgia to require his services. I mean, this guy is can probably fix whatever issue you got right from where he's sitting right now. So let's get into it. Jim, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Tell us whatever you want us to know. Tell us how you got into the IT and take it from there.
Okay. Well, I've been in this thing for about since 1991. That's back in the day where everything you had to put together, such as putting a computer together, everything was it wasn't definitely like it is now, where you got your sound cards and video cards and all this stuff on the board. Was none of that way back then. Unfortunately, back then, a lot of times you didn't find out some of this stuff wasn't even compatible until you put it together. And so, been doing it that long. It's been a love of mine actually doing this, and it's nice to see a lot of the technology that has changed over the last 25 years. I always said that looking at anything, regardless if it's tech or what have you, is all about that wow factor. When you're able to wow people with what you do, I think it makes a difference. And once again, doing that one thing that's different than everyone else, it also makes you successful. But as for the changes such as TVs, computers, internet speed, there has a lot changed with that. Prime example of that, one of the things that has always been, it was that computers is always faster than our internet. Our internet, if you look back from dial-up was slow. Then we, pretty much got the DSL and all this other stuff as for the speed. But now we moving into this stage of mega gigs actually now, which probably for the first time we probably looking at cases where our internet speed is faster than our computers. Even if you're talking about six i6 or i8 processors now, for the first time we're looking at something totally different, which is going to create a unique problem when you think about it, where that the computer's not going to be able to hold. It depends on how old the computer is, of course. You might have a run into a case where the computer you got might not be able to retrieve that data fast enough. And if you know anything about data, a lot of times, as the stuff rolls in slower, sometimes you get cut off because it's just taking too long to download something. So for the first time, we enter into that phase now where that internet, our internet speeds, once again, it's going to be faster than our computer. So the first time ever. But it's nice seeing some of the changes. But one of the other changes that probably quite a few million people have in their homes is the thermostats. The coolest thing about what's changing now with the thermostats and smart plugs and smart bulbs and all these things that's connected with Alexa, which is pretty cool. A lot of people love the idea of being able to cut the lights off by just saying, hey, cut the lights off, dim the lights, change the lights colors, and what have you. But one of the other things that you got within that, a lot of people don't realize, is that you can go through your app if you have all those devices and look at exactly how many kilowatts that particular item burns. And so it's pretty cool to be able to see that. So, for example, a lot of people don't realize that the smart bulbs, for example, most of the smart bulbs last 8 years. Not only that, when you have a regular light bulb running at 100%, you can go ahead and have our smart bulb like mine. I have mine down to like I think 55 or 50%, which is running on half a regular light bulb. And so that alone is a lot, energy saved. But at the same time, being able to go into your app and being able to see exactly how much that item is burning kilowatts wise is huge. Matter of fact, I got a couple of bulbs that only cost me $3 and change for a whole year, which is remarkable when you think about it. So it's beautiful to be able to see all that. But now on the horizon for people like myself that wear glasses, one of the things is that now Apple is actually about to bring out their very first AR glasses. They just upgraded to the 15 iOS 15.5, which now is going to change a lot of what we see now. But the glasses are pretty much really great. There are other makers of the glasses. Um, Immo is one of the companies that actually have AI glasses, but they're not as great as what Apple is about to bring out. Probably for the first time for people that wear glasses like myself, it might be a case where you never have to worry about glasses again. The only issue I see right now is that they have to get it down where the battery life is longer. But seeing that alone, imagine having everything you normally have on your phone, you be able to look through your glasses and see it, which is pretty cool. From your cameras to getting your email, from your texts, is a pretty cool thing, you know. So seeing that's on the horizon is something else. Seeing that, um, but at the same time, right now it's also about security. Right now, one of the things that Amazon has right now coming out on the horizon, which is the Amazon drone, security drone, which is pretty cool. And everybody knows about some of the Amazon um, items they have out now. But one of the cool things, at least about the drone, imagine if you have Alexa app on your phone, and you're not home, but it hears. So I just said Alexa. Let me see this down. Yeah, it just heard me say his name. Uh, but anyway, one of the things that's so great about it, if you're not home, one of the cool things is it hears sound and what have you. The minute it actually, senses something in your home, it picks up from the base and basically flies around your home. And on your phone, you can see everywhere it goes. And being able to see security wise what's going on in your home. So that's one of the good things that actually is out there too. Um, and TVs, everybody, now because the pricing of everything has gone up, um, TVs are probably the one of the things that everybody has, of course, in their home. Everybody's talking about pricing and the names and what have you. But for example, like TCL, for example, is one of the brands that actually has been really pretty much strong in the last few years. Um, and right now, their brand is pretty good. Matter of fact, Samsung has those guys making their screens. So to go to show you how good these guys are in reference to that. So when you got a company like Samsung willing to have a company like TCL to say, hey, y'all guys doing such a great job, we want y'all guys to make our screens, which just says a lot about them alone. So the nice thing about it is about pricing. When you compare, for example, a Samsung TV to a TCL TV, the prices are huge, but it's not always about name, just like Buffalo Picker and I was talking about the label printers y'all guys use. It's not always about the name of them. And I know a lot of people is caught up with the name. People assume that because it has a certain name brand, you expect a certain quality, but that's not always the case. A lot of the cases is that products you got a lot of products that just better. Might not have the big names, that on it, but it does a great quality job, and that's really what it comes down to. So, in the software these days, I mean, software is another issue. I'm not exactly. I think y'all guys, but Buffalo Pickle, what software do y'all guys use? I think it's you use a variety of different software for your resellers, correct?
Yeah, yeah. The main one is Inventory Lab for me.
Yeah, and so go to show you how much has changed over the years. It's going to be that much more different than probably another year from now. And the thing is, I tell people, regardless of what background you are, software is basically leading the way to a lot of this. Because without software, we wouldn't have our smart TVs, we wouldn't have some of the capabilities, even what we're doing now. We would not have the capabilities that we have with a lot of things. So, from printing T-shirts and some of the crazy things, as for lasers and all this other stuff. So, the one thing I tell people, regardless of what your industry is, you want to do your homework, and I'm kind of like a type of person where I don't always take people's word for it. I have to find it out myself, because there's nothing worse, in my opinion, that somebody give you bad advice and you just spend X amount of dollars, and all of a sudden you're not all that happy because you done spent this money based on what somebody told you, and you realize that the information they told you wasn't all that true. So some of this technology stuff, unfortunately, you have to find out firsthand. And just like with doorbell cameras, a lot of people have the Ring, and there's quite a few others out there. And Blink is probably one of the, in my opinion, is one of the pretty good brands in reference to wireless cameras, for example. They use a regular Energizer battery, high end. The camera battery on outside, you got an outside, you use it on the outside, probably says charged about a year and a half, about a year, about 7 months. But in home, it probably will last about 2 years, and they're pretty good. And there's some other brands out there, but for my opinion, that's probably one of the better ones, because it definitely goes, with the ecosystem of the Amazon hookup for the Fire Sticks to the Ring doorbell. So it's pretty neat to be able to set at, you got a Fire Stick on your TV, and you hear something outside. It's pretty nice to be able to hit the microphone on your remote and say, "Show me back door, backyard, what have you," pops up on the TV. Features like that is really pretty cool to be able to have. And so it's nice seeing all this technology change. But once again, in the business that you are in, regardless of what business you're in, you definitely want to make sure you stay on top of the technology, ask for what's out there for your realm of business. And one of the biggest problems right now, as for problems wise, there's so many people getting taken by these scammers in reference to this whole computer thing. Unfortunately, right now, so I mentioned Amazon earlier. Probably the biggest scam right now is this Amazon scam. People either get an email or a phone call. I even got an email stating that a $1,200 iPad was purchased. But I knew it was a fake, so because the email address they had on the email they sent me was didn't I know it didn't go along with my Amazon account. But unfortunately, people look at that number that's on that email and call them up, and without realizing it, they're slowly giving them the information they need to take their money. I even had one customer that actually had them on the phone, that had the customer to download a app where they transferred the money out of their account to the app. And that's an issue, because once again, in a sense where that, and we have to try to get your money back from the bank. If you transfer that money out of Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever into that app, at that point, there's nothing they can do for you. And that's the biggest thing that people need to understand. But there's so many scams out here in reference to all of this. People just need to be wise. But as for the technology that, like I said, from computers to phones, is pretty unique. It's definitely seeing what iPhone or Apple has done with this brand new 15 OS 15.5. Some of the features that you can do on your iPhone is definitely totally remarkable as what they have. So the thing of it is, right now, like I said, someone's seeing the technology, like even with lasers now. Now, for probably the first time in probably a minute, that you can cut stuff pretty reasonable, and do all sorts of crazy things with it. The best way to say it. But once again, y'all guys, as for resellers, software wise is always a great thing to see what's out there and see what's going to work better for you. I know sometimes people get relaxed with what they are so used to using, and they don't want to move off that. I can understand that, but at the same time, time is money, and if you happen to look at or use or see something that's going to be more beneficial, that's what you want to get on and try to figure out more of it, because at the end of the day, it's about the dollars. You know,
Right.
so that's
I
basically
know. I know that you opened my eyes to that when my Rolo printer went down, and I was just stuck on getting a Rolo to replace it, and you made a suggestion, and I was like, you know what, I'll just try it because I didn't know anything about the brand, and I was like, I'll just try it until I can get my Rolo back, up and running, and that particular printer made me leave Rolo, and it was almost $100 cheaper than the Rolo. And I'm like, I was so impressed with it, but at the same time, like you said, is that we get stuck on things based off of the brand name, and we fail to give other brands a try. And definitely don't look at stuff like that anymore.
yeah. I mean, with all the other equipment I done bought, over the months and then over the last 2 years, my thing is that it's not always a good thing taking people's word. Sometimes you have to find things out yourself, unfortunately.
Right.
And depends on what those dollar figures are. As for getting that item, yeah, you might want to find that out yourself. It's nothing worse, once again, than purchasing something based on what somebody tells you or what you see on the video, and then you get it home. You done tried it out and realize that, man. For prime example, I think you probably remember this. Buffalo Picker, where I had bought this machine. I think I told you, and it didn't work out of the box. And then the bad thing was going on what I was told I had to spend $100 of my own money to send the doggone thing back,
Right.
which I wasn't happy with at all. But that's the thing that I maybe should have, and that's my fault, of course. For the very few times that it happens where that you just look at all these things that people tell you and you go with it and you assume that they know what they're talking about. But just like reviews, a lot of times I find out cases when, just like the brackets I got on these TVs, they're hanging from the ceiling. People, I looked at the reviews on there and it was horrible. But I started looking at the reviews a little deeper. Most of the people didn't know what they was talking about because they just didn't know what they was talking about. And the thing of it is that sometimes you have to find out for yourself what works and what don't. And because at the end of the day, it's about your dollars. You know, and you don't want to get trapped into something where it's going to cost you a little bit more money to switch something out or what have you. And usually with a lot of us, we have this little thing in the back of our head to say, well, something's not quite right before even sometimes you buy it, but you go in and do it anyway. You know.
Hey Jim, do you remember that brand of that particular printer, thermal
I
printer?
think I think it's I had to look over there and look at it. I think it's COMER. I think it is the spelling of it.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
got it on the
yeah,
at the warehouse. I can't remember the name at the moment.
yeah, and
Somebody
yeah,
in the chat asked for the brand.
yeah, because actually it was very because I think I got mine. I think I told you about the group the coupon thing. That's how basically I got it very cheap. But Amazon has it pretty reasonable anyway. But that's one of the things, man, that is pretty doggone cool. Where you look at these printers, you're spending $150 to $200 or more just because of the name, and a lot of times you don't even have to spend anything close to that. I think I spent maybe $69 or $89 for the printer, and it's been working great ever since.
Right.
So basically, when you
I
think,
think I think one of I think one of the things too is that a lot of resellers was pushing promoting that particular printer or certain types of printers,
yeah,
and that led to, I know for myself, I led for me to buy a Rolo because I was like, I was actually using the printer at my house, and then I was like, okay, I have seen several resellers talk about this particular printer, so let me try it. And then I tried it. It was like, I was tunnel vision. It was working for me until it didn't work, and then it
Well,
became an issue.
Well, you talk Rolo up to us. You know what I'm saying? So you feel me? He was doing his commercials on Rolo with us. So I understand. You know what I mean? I wanted to ask you, Jim. I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite brands or some of your brands you go to?
What you mean in reference to computers, software? What you
Yeah, computers. 90% of computers. What are your favorite brands and TVs and stuff like that?
Computers are not really a favorite brand, being honest, because I've seen, I work on so many of them over the years, and will tell you that some name brands you stay away from, without question. So there's some brands that you definitely want. Gateway, they still working. Best way to say Gateway. I would not tell anybody. Acer is another brand that I know people get them because they cheap. But my strongest opinion, unless something recently changed, my opinion is not. It hasn't changed over the years, and there are some brands, like I said, you just stay away from. And even though you get them cheap, because people is drawn by the price, and I understand that. But the problem that you have later on makes you regret it. Prime example of that. Acer, for example, I bought one from back years ago. Bought one from Home Office Depot, basically on a day after Thanksgiving sale, and thought I'm getting a great deal because hey, I got it very cheap. But man, that computer didn't leave my desk. I had it exactly for 15 days, and the reason why I say 15 days, that's exactly how long I had it, and realized the computer hard drive done went out. 15 days, and now because
In
of 15
15
days.
days?
Yep, I could not take it back to the store because the store got a return policy of 14 days. You know what I mean? So I called the company up. They was more than happy to tell me what I needed to do to send it there. But I will tell you that I sold that thing as soon as it came back because I realized this. If I didn't have something for 15 days and it stopped working, what are the chances it's going to work 6 months from now when I really need it?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just felt that it just wasn't, even though the person got a great deal, because I didn't sell it for the same price I got it. But the reality is that it just, hey, I just rather just take the chance to get it off my hands and let somebody else deal with it. And it still had a warranty on it when I gave it to them at least, so they felt good about that. I hope that it still worked out for them. But these things, man. As for TVs now, in my TCL has been a good brand. It's one of the brands I spoke of. For example, one of the things that people don't realize, I always do, open box and all that stuff. Cause a lot of times people don't think about that. And prime example of that, I purchased two different times dealing with the Walmart thing, open box. I just happened to walk in the store, wasn't looking for a TV, but I'm always in electronics every time I go in their shop. So I just walk around and see what they have. And they had an open box 55-inch TCL for 190 bucks, man. So I asked the lady, I said, well, it's got to be something wrong with the TV because, for the TV was like $355. So I think 349 whatever it was, normal price. And I'm saying that this TV it's got to have a problem. I said, no, it doesn't have a problem. It's open box. My brother returned it. And he said, well, if you don't like it, we got a 30-day return policy. You can return it back to the store. So, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That worked. So the crazy thing about that is that didn't realize or didn't even know that the insurance that you can put on the TV, believe it or not, I got it for $19 for 3 years, man. And the thing is still on my wall, not without a problem. But it's all about the brands. People, like I said, people get caught up with the name. Now, don't get me wrong. I look at back here, maybe about a little bit over a year ago, had a customer that was stuck on Sony. Now, Sony is a great brand. I can't take nothing away from them. And I was showing him a Samsung TV that basically had the same features and the same size. It was like a $700 difference between the two TVs, man. $700, you know. So, and when he saw that, that changed because he did not know. I said, don't get me wrong, both brands are great, but if you can get some of the same things like $700 cheaper, what you gonna do? You know,
$700 cheaper.
Yeah, you're talking about 700, almost $700 difference, man. So, but that's the reasons why, especially in the fields or whatever you do, you want to be able to check um, what you what you're looking at to make sure you're getting a great price and is it really worth it? I look at the item that I returned that I spent $100 on, man, to return it. I wasn't a happy camper at all. And I went on what other people had to say. And, I was so bothered by that. First of all, lifting that heavy thing, getting it into the store, that's the first problem. And then the second problem, I had to give up $100 to return it. You know what I mean? So those two things, man, I wasn't happy with. Just, and I sometimes I do slip 'cause I'm human. But that's the reason why I tell people thoroughly, go through whatever it is that you're looking at. Just make sure that you're comfortable with you purchasing, the price is right, and the quality. You know what I mean? And the thing is, too, people don't realize too, is that a lot of stores, which I've been through, regardless computers or TVs, some of these stores wrap this stuff up so good, man, you have no clue that it's been used. So I never forget, had a customer that needed a router, purchased out of store, and usually I have a habit of opening the box before I get to the store, just in case something is missing. Before I get to the customer's location to see if there's something missing. The problem with this was I opened it up, the router had dust on it. So how can a brand new product that they say never been opened has dust on it? And that would have been truly embarrassing to get to the location and open it up. The customer sees the dust on it, and I have to, I know he knows it's not going to be me because I mean he see me open it, but it would been truly a little bit embarrassing with that. So I tell people, for example, just recently with a TV, a customer had, and I'm not going to call the company out, but they had the TV delivered to their home and had me to install it. I noticed a small little chip, maybe a little, I thought it was plastic really, that had just, at the bottom of the TV, might have just snagged a little bit. And when I put the TV up, realized the whole screen was cracked. And it was from that, started from that little crack. Come to find out that the outside of the box wasn't damaged, but the inside of the foam was damaged. You could see where something poked inside, punched the foam inside the box, but the outside the box looked fine. But what that was, someone had pulled it out of the box. I mean, pulled the top off, and something hit it, and they basically put the box, top back on the box. The problem with a lot of that too is that it's this. Luckily, this store basically took it back and brought another one out, but you got to think about the scenarios behind a lot of this. It depends on the store. They might not have been willing to take it back, and that's where the issue is in a lot of this stuff. So, I just tell people, regardless if it's me or somebody else, um, you got hanging it, you want to make sure that, especially in the store, I did this when Fry's was open. The guy thought I was nuts. I said, no, man, I don't need you to open that TV before I pull it out of the store, because something wrong with it. And I get it home, I'm not going to be happy. And no, they didn't like it, but think of it, I'm the customer. I would just want to make sure what I'm getting doesn't have no cracked screen. You know what I mean?
Gotta have some quality to it. You did,
Yeah.
and you spending your money on it. You can do it how you want to do it.
Yeah, and thing of it is, man, like I said, some of these stores are so finicky. Even though it's not your fault, but you definitely want to make sure, because you're spending your money and you don't want to go through no whole hassle trying to return something that wasn't your fault, that the damage has been done to it. Because once again, they haven't checked. For example, I had a computer which I look back at. This is kind of funny, where that I go out there and install a unit, all in one unit, and I see once I cut the computer, I see the space where, I thought it was the customer's daughter, really. So I'm sitting there waiting for her to log into it. I'm thinking that she did something with the store and they put, set that part up. And she thought they were still talking and she was waiting on me to log in because she thought I knew the person on the screen. Come to find out, it was somebody else's computer, man. It was used. She had no clue that it was used. She assumed that it was new, you know? So all these products, man, that's out in these stores, they wrap them pretty doggone good. And the problem, this is just my opinion, of course, what I'm about to say now, is that some of the products that you get that stops working a year later or a year and a half later, I have to truly believe some of those units have been used. For example, Walmart now has a longer return policy. I think it was 90 days now, or what is it, 4 months, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So imagine if I had a TV for that long and I decided to take it back on the last day and return it back to the store, you know? So the question is, what you're getting might have been already got burn time. The person might have had TV running every single day for 90 days, you know? And so little things like that now, and at least there are some stores that are respectable and honest as for making it a open box item. or refurbishing, but not all stores are honest with that. So that's the reason why I bring that up, because one thing you want to make sure, if you can, what you're getting is, if you spec the new and you bought it new, you spent that money like a new device, you want to make sure it's new. And there's nothing wrong with it. Now, I know that I go into stores that some people are not happy with me doing that. But if you want my dollars, hey, I just have to do that. That's just one of those things that I can't take a risk of, because I ain't going to come back to the store trying to argue this whole haggle thing about trying to get my money or returns or exchange that you don't want to do simply because you think I done something, you know?
Hey
Correct.
Jim, let me give a shout out to the chat and run these buffaloes, and then we'll get back into the conversation. You
Okay.
definitely dropping some gems out here. Everyone in the chat, this is Jim the Tech. He is the owner of Computer Geeks of Georgia. If you have any questions that's concerning IT or anything like that, drop your question in the chat. I mean, this guy has a lot of information when it comes to technology. Let me run the Buffaloes, and then we're gonna give a shout out to the people that arrived.
You got to run
Uh,
them twice, man.
okay. See, this is the middle band. A lot of information. Keep it coming. Appreciate it,
Yep.
brother.
Somebody else.
Super chat received.
All right, and we got Frank in here. Frank Bullock, appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your continued support.
Super chat received.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Melinda, Doc Diggles, Swamp Picker. Appreciate you coming out. Willie Rich Bird, what's going on? Low, a rural squirrel. Jules, and I think I got everybody. I think I seen Mess Hall giving everybody a shout out as well. The Middleman, Tanya. I appreciate you all coming out supporting the show on a continuous basis. So yeah, like I said, Jim the Tech is here with us tonight. He's here to kind of shine light on future technology coming down the pipe, things that we have right now that we may not know of that we can be taking advantage of. So he's been putting out a lot of information. Maybe I know I will. I'm gonna need to go back and watch the video because he's just been putting out topic after topic of different things out here that we can use. So Jim, if you don't mind, you can pick your conversation back up, and everybody in the chat, if you got any question, make sure you drop your question in the chat. I'll highlight it.
Hey, Jim,
one
let
of the
me
things,
ask you a question. Let me ask
yes,
you a
sir.
question, Jim. What's up with one of them speakers back there, man?
Say, what, the speakers? Man, I don't know
Yeah,
about having the speakers. Well, I'm not sure. Well, actually, these are shirts and mugs and all that stuff back there,
oh
man.
yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get the GCP right there on that
I,
thing, like you did the Buffaloes. You feel me?
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, man. Yeah. You know what, man? I felt that, and I can do that, man. You know, we
yeah.
can
I'm
go
gonna
ahead
come
and.
at you. I'm gonna come at you behind the scenes and talk to you, man, and go and put it together for me.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
I do a lot of stuff now. I got a, Buffalo picker. No, I just purchased this huge laser machine, man. I already got two of them already, but
Yeah,
I got a big one that I just purchased, and it's actually another part of the garage, of course. And I deal with it sometime this weekend to try to get it in the room. And I might have to even open the door, try to figure out to cut the doorway open to get it in here, but I'm hoping not. But anyway, but yeah, but definitely can do that, man. And I would say this in reference to printers, for example, we was talking about earlier. One of the
yeah,
biggest things I want to make sure that people know of, people buy the inkjet laser printers and what have you. And I will tell you the best printer, in my opinion, to buy now. Laser printers are great, don't get me wrong, but the printers that you can fill your ink in. The reasons why that's so important were that back in the past with printers that used, cartridges, you sometimes get these off-brand cartridges and the printer don't act right, or it doesn't notice that the cartridge is not authentic, and so you have problems trying to use the cartridge. But the nice thing about the printers, such as HP has a brand, of course, and a few other makers out there, where you can put the ink in it. The coolest thing about that, the printer don't know that you're using an off-brand ink, you know, so it can save you a ton of money. So, for example, I think I got one right here. So I got a couple. Well, matter of fact, a couple of them. And so these here, I fill them up. I mean, I get them from Amazon, for example. I think I got all 4 colors for like $17, man. So the crazy thing about that is that think about it. Most depends on which printer. You probably be spending 50 to almost 90 some odd dollars for all 4 colors. When you can go on, for example, Amazon and just buy 4 colors under $20, and that depends on the printer, I guess, and the seller you buying it from. But you definitely probably not going to spend no more than $24 for it for all 4 colors. And then with y'all guys printing on what you're doing, if you got a regular printer that you print a lot of invoices on and stuff like that, that definitely comes in handy. So you better save a ton of money on that side.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's one of the things that's changed, which is great because I do remember the times where I have bought refills I call. I'm not going to call the company name out, but times I had to run over there and take them right back because I put it in there, it don't work. I'm frustrated. And I have to get in my car, drive right back to the store and say, hey, this don't work. And then he give me another one and we go through all this again. But that's the nice change that has been made with a lot of these printers now. So that's the best way if you have to buy one these days, buy one that you can pull the ink in because once again, the printer's not going to know what ink you got, from an off name brand. It just not, if it's supposed to be yellow, you just, pull the yellow and then the printer's not going to know who it came from and who made it.
Hey Jim, you got a question in the chat. I don't know if you covered this already. But Hollywood Reseller just posted. I guess he's saying, does that thing jumped on me? Does that or not authentic cause major damage to printers? So I guess he's saying that does toners that are not authentic cause major damage to printers?
Now depends on if you talk about. See, I'm talking about ink. Now, if you're talking about ink or toner, that's totally different. Now, toner. A case where you got to watch who you're getting it from because a lot of times you have toner that they don't seal right, where you got a lot of spills inside the printer. So yeah, in that case, yeah. But if you got somebody that a company that you buying it from, like somebody on Amazon that you're dealing with them and they've been pretty good, and being quite honest, you're not going to really know until you try them out, unfortunately. But my strongest advice in a situation like that, you just want to say for those 10 days or what have you, to find out what's what, to see if that, you don't have no spills, you should be good. But the ink ink is a whole different thing, so because you're not talking about cartridges, we're talking about pouring the ink inside the printer, and that doesn't do any damage at all, you know. So, but now the question is, if you get a pretty good seller that got it mixed right, you should be good. But one of the problems that you might find out that unfortunately that they might not mix right. So black is supposed to be black and it's off black. I mean, it's not exactly the color it need to be. But once again, you won't really know that until you try this stuff out. But once you then found somebody that does selling a great product, that's probably pretty much where you want to stick with. But once again, yeah.
Yeah, Jules, she got a question in here. Does Epson accept ink refill?
Now, is she talking about no? Now, if she talking about the cartridge,
yeah,
or
the cartridge,
probably not. I mean, when you think about HP and the rest of these, it's a sensor inside the printer now, where that, and you can probably in some cases get away with it. I will say, in some cases where you might have to try a few things to get it working. There might be a case where it works for a few days, and all of a sudden you get this error message pop up on your printer that the blue is not working or your blue is empty or something like that. So the thing is this. I've seen a lot of problems with the refills, in my opinion, and just mine alone, of course. If you got a printer where you use an ink cartridges, we're not talking about toner, but we're just talking about the regular inkjet printers. You might want to go ahead and stick with the brand or Epson or HP that they have, because there's some out there that's good, but that's the risk you take, though. You know what I mean? So, and I've done seen so many over the years, and being honest, um, I really couldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell you to do it. Knowing some of the things I've seen out here, and yeah, you save money. Now, you find somebody that's doing it pretty good, and a lot of cartridge refill places around here. If they're doing a great job, they seem to do what they need to be doing, and you're happy with them, stick with them. But once again, you're taking a huge risk because, especially if it's a printer you just bought, then you got a warranty problem. Because once they done found that out, then there's a very good chance that they might not even repair it, even though okay, you got a year warranty, and they've been finding out that hey, you send the printer back to them and what have you, or they find out that you've been using free refills in it, then that voids the warranty, so you stuck, you know. So little things like that people don't think about when they go out here and do the refills. But once again, that's just one of those things that people need to kind of put in the back of their mind when they do. So if it seems to work, that's great. But just keep that in mind, especially if it's a brand new one. A brand new one, like I said, if you go out and buy one, just buy one that you can just pour the ink in it. That way it solves all that, and plus you save money in the meantime.
Okay.
So yeah, so
What about expired toner, expired ink? Is that
oh,
still
let me.
good?
Well, let me tell you about that one, man. I ran into that problem myself, which I found out by accident. I had this 8600 printer, and I always set the printer where it prints black. I didn't need color. Okay, so anytime I needed, ink was always the black cartridge I basically put in. So here it is, probably about 6 or 7 months later. Keep in mind the other cartridges are filled. Didn't have to use them all that time. All of a sudden, I get this message telling me that my 3 color cartridges has expired, and the printer will not let you print until you buy 3 brand new cartridges, even though that they are full. But because they expired, the printer will not allow you to do it. It will not allow you to print with those cartridges.
Hmm.
So the expired, as for the expiration, what have you, I very much doubt. Depends on the printer. I doubt if it even lets you do it. Because like I said, I ran into the situation myself, and I had quite a few other customers ran through the same thing. But I will say this though, from what I'm seeing, most of the customers I've seen has been an HP thing. That's for whatever reason. I don't know. I haven't seen anything other than HP's been having that issue. As for the expiration, as for the cartridges expiring. So can you use it? I don't know of anybody that was able to use it. Because with the little chip that's on the back, how printers are set up now. When you set a printer up, it basically pretty much connects to a server. So when you do all these updates, it keep all that information inside the printer basically, and pretty much reads back and forth. So um, I very much doubt it even allow you to use it. If you can, I don't know if you want to or not, but I don't know if they even allow you to do that now. So that's the thing. And I will say this though, that was so crazy. I definitely was on the subject about refills. The crazy thing is that I got an Epson printer over here, for example. I bought the refill ink, which cost me, I think, $16 or $17. I bought the empty blanks that you pour the ink in. The crazy thing about that was this: all these years, with all these printers, been spending, $75 and $90 for the ink. And so here it is. I got this bottle. I'm assuming that this whole bottle is going to be used. Each all the colors I got. Man, I was able to use that 3 times. The ink only cost me $17, and I realized that we've been totally cheated. Which is totally nuts. I couldn't believe it. I say, this has got to be something's wrong with this. So all the years I've been had a printer, you're trying to tell me that here I got a whole bottle of ink and I'm able to use it 3 times, compared to me going out to a store and buying ink for that same printer and spending $90 for the exact same one, man. Well, not exact cartridge, but you know what I mean. But it's crazy. And I'm sitting up here thinking that we've been totally conned, man. We've been totally conned. So that's the reason why I'm saying buying the ink where you can pour it in, save you a ton of money. If you're one of those people that print a lot of invoices and what have you, and run a business, a very good chance you're going through a lot of ink if you're using inkjet printers. So without question, that's the route you want to go. Just get one that you can pour the ink in. You better save a ton of money doing it. So
Yeah, Jules has a good question too. I find them a lot. She finds toners at the Amazon return store a lot.
right.
She's never bought them, but as long as they're not expired, you think they're still good. Those big boxes like toners and
Yeah,
cartridges.
sell them, man. I mean, yeah, you should be fine. And so as long as they expired, you should be good.
Okay.
Because well, see, let me back up here. The difference. Let me back up here. Um, the printer, once you have a cartridge in the printer and you got those cartridges set in the printer, that's one thing. The system picks up as for how long you had them. You follow me? So from what I've seen so far, if you got a box of ink toner that's sitting there, you haven't put it in the printer yet. You open up and put it in the printer. The printer doesn't know how long you had it because this is the first time you inserted it. Compared to you having it in your printer for 4 or 5 months and never using it, then look at how long it's been, knowing that it's in the system, then that's a whole different thing. So I think you should be good with that. If you got boxes of toner, you should be okay with it. You should be good because once again, they've never been used. Because
Well,
once
I have
again,
a couple questions real quick, Buff, before we go
yeah,
move on. But I will say this: a statement first. I have a Rolo printer,
okay,
and if the Rolo people are watching, I will happily do a commercial for you guys on my Rolo printer that I love more than anything in life. And there's been smoke coming off this thing. I print so much stuff off of it,
wow,
but that's just me. My computer of choice is HP. I've had the same HP for about 5 years, and it has done me no wrong. My TV of choice is Vizio. I have a Vizio flat screen that I love more than anything. It's my favorite TV. It's in my living room. So that's just me though. But my question for you,
hmm
I've always wanted to know: are there like over the years some kind of new tech or new app that came out that you didn't think was going to do anything but ended up doing really well?
wow. That's a oh wow.
I'll give you an example. So, like for me, when Airbnb first came out, when there was an app where you could rent out someone's room in their house, I thought this is never going to be a this is never going to work out. Rent out someone else's room in their house, like who would ever do that?
Yeah,
And now, like that's all I use when I travel now is Airbnbs. So
but
it's
that's a
crazy.
that's a good question, man. And I've done ran through so much software, and being honest, has there been one? I mean, I gotta think hard on that one because God knows over the last 25 years, man, I done ran through so many, used so many different software, tried so many. Um, is there any one I can think of that?
It's just something you thought wasn't going to work out, and then
That's
it
what I'm
ended up
thinking.
being.
That's a good question, man, because honestly, usually when I usually with me using software is a case where I'm doing a job for somebody or a case like that, or I'm using it for that small period of time. So I really just never gave it any thought. Will it work or not? Even the apps, because there's been quite a few hundred of apps down here now. So I don't know. I got to think hard on that one. I got to get back with you on that because I can't think of any off the top of my head. You know.
Well, I say my favorite thing now is the Wi-Fi scanner thing that's on your bank cards now. So
Yeah.
you don't have to pull the card out of your wallet anymore. You just
Yeah.
take your
And
wallet out and pay for things, or use your phone and pay for things. And now, like I've seen at yard sales, now it's yard sale season. I mean, a lot of these people at yard sales, they have Venmo or Cash App or something.
or a
They
square or
don't have
something
to have
like that.
money
Yes.
anymore to go to yard sales. You know what I mean? It's just all this cool tech is out there that's just helping us
Yes.
resellers out. I don't have to go to the
Square
ATM
is
to get
probably the
money out.
biggest,
You know what I
man. I
mean?
think Square is probably one of those things, man, that is really great. Because I mean, I started back in the day with PayPal, and for a business, man, they keep a good little bit of your change.
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know, so when it came along, man, it was a huge plus, and so. It's just that it's nice seeing all this different stuff. But I also tell people this though, with all this new technology, I think sometimes we get a little too relaxed and we forget about the security side of this whole thing. So I just tell people that you just got to understand. If you remember back here with the Zelle thing back here, back the end of the end of last year, the first of this year, that you have heard some horror stories in reference to that. So I just tell people, you just kind of, understand the whole security side of this whole thing. For business wise, it's just truly nobody, a lot of people don't carry cash anymore. You know what I mean? And so the whole electronic thing, as for digital wise, is here to stay. It ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Which is easy. You get your money quicker, and the person pay you quicker. you know.
And I think
So,
even seeing how far video games have gone. Like
oh man,
when I was a kid, it was Atari, then Nintendo, and then
yeah,
now my son, who's 13, he's got the Oculus virtual reality
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's just amazing, man, how
Yeah.
far things have gone.
Oh, you know what? When I used to see CAD, for example, I look back. I taught myself CAD. You know, I look at how CAD software changed and what some of the software you use to build houses with. Now, man, I mean, just for example, let me bang up just like with Home Depot. So, for example, let's say if you want a particular paint color um, of a certain room. The nice thing about it, they got an app where you can take the snapshot of that room and tap the button and just change the paint color to see if it actually going to match your room. You know, so that way, if you got like right now, the sun is going down, you want to see what that looks like as the this time of day. It's pretty cool to have that done. That's probably one of the coolest thing I've seen too is that being able to know exactly what it's going to look like before you take your brush and paint the wall. You know, so it's definitely a good thing. So there's a lot of good apps out there. As for any apps that, like I said, or programs that that basically didn't think that was going to do well. I got to think on that once again, but it's nice seeing the technology as it is. But once again, though, once the security thing, we didn't got so relaxed with this stuff. I think that's where our problem is. I think that when you look back, maybe 25, 30 years ago, we knew that we would have some of the issues that we have. Um, I don't know if we would use the computers as much as we do now, you know, because some of the stuff when it's out there, you can't get it back. The one that breaches, like with T-Mobile, for example, some people actually have their information exposed, and it's sad that we got to this point where the computers gotten faster, the internet's gotten faster. They're using AI software to remote in the computers now. It's so many things they're doing now to get people's money and catching them off guard. I run into that maybe 2 or 3 times a week, where that you see something or you had a situation where you see something that you never seen before, how they got their money taken, you know, and it's happening quite a bit. And these guys that's out here doing this, man, they breaking up some money a day. You think of it this way: if you're able to knock, get $400 from this person or $1,000 for this person, and within a day's time, this person already racked up probably $7,000, $8,000 in a day. You know, so we just got to be extra cautious about how we go about that, using all this electronic stuff. Because I'm coming from the day where the remote TVs only had two buttons on it. Which was a channel button and a volume button. You know what I mean? And so now, you got Alexa and all this other stuff. You can have it change the channels and all this other stuff, man. And it's really it's pretty nice. It's comfortable. It's say, hey, instead of walking down the hall, cut off the light, you just say, hey, Alexa, cut the light off. You know what I mean? So it's really nice to have all that stuff. But at the same time, we got to really think about our security with all of this. Um, that's probably my major concern with it all, though. Seeing the technology has changed with that so much is faster, and hacking is big time now, man.
Hey, Jim, Messal, you have anything else?
I'm good, Buff. Go ahead, man.
Hey, Jim, got a couple of things, and I'm gonna try to roll them all up, because we're gonna have to bring the show to an end in about 15 minutes. Um, One thing is, what type of security cameras you recommend? Two, how long you think we are with AI rapidly rising? How far along do you think we'll away from having the iRobot in the house? And where you think we are with electric cars? When you think that gonna pretty much be 50%
Oh,
of the vehicles on the road?
well, we at this. Well, first of all, they not cheap. So for the average person to have, it's still a good little ways to make them cheaper. Now the problem with the electric car issue, which now people starting to realize, is that it's great if you bought the car brand new, but for the person that's buying the car, the problem is that that battery might be at 60 or 70 or 50%. So now the question becomes, do you want to buy a car that only have 50% battery life? The batteries are not cheap. Some of these cars batteries are like anywhere from six to $12,000, and some of these cars have 3 or 4 batteries in them. But 2 or 3 batteries in them. So that's the thing. As for AI, they put in computers, cameras, all that stuff is great. But once again, if somebody hacked that information, that's what you got to worry about. You know what I mean? Because now, for example, back here it's 2022, so it's probably maybe 2006, 2016. There was a prison over in another country. I would love to think it's China, but I could be wrong. And they had put this AI software in place to basically keep an eye on their prisoners, pretty much. And so what it started doing is started noticing that the prisoners' behavior and their habits. So, they had breakouts and what have you for all those years, but for the first time, they didn't have none of that because the software knew what they was thinking before they even done it. Which is what they let the guards know what was going on, what was taking place and what have you before they even, react on it. So it's something else. And as for the AI software, like I said, it's great. Now, as for the robots in the house, they, matter of fact, Amazon got one out now. I think the thing's like $2,000. They just introduced it maybe about 3 weeks ago. I don't know how many people are gonna buy that for that price. I would love to get my hands on it, but for $2,000, I'll probably leave it alone. I'll probably buy me a robot lawnmower, which I've been really thinking about for the last few months because now it's getting hot, man. It'd be nice to be able to let my robot lawnmower cut my yard while I'm sitting back with a hat on and lemonade, So I'm really seriously thinking about doing that. If any one thing, but my wife ain't too cool with it. But I said, babe, I'm the one doing the grass, so why not go with it,
Yeah, I seen a guy with a robot golf cart caddy thing. He was walking and his bag was walking beside him and walking in front of him on the golf course. I was like, what the hell is that thing, man?
It's nice seeing that stuff, man. I mean, that's the nice thing about all of this, man. And like I said, I'm really thinking about getting the lawnmower thing because it's pretty cool the way how it works and what have you. Just being able to have it cut your grass and you just sit there and watch it. And I was telling a few people that I know that out here cutting grass, I said, man, future wise, you might need to think about that because we started my apps earlier, for example. I had one guy was starting to try to get into doing yards. I said, well, I'm a tech person, so I'm always thinking outside the box on this stuff. So I said, man, you need to find an app that you can, use Google to zoom in on the yard and get the size of the yard. So that way you know what you get up against as for what the pricing is. But not only that, it's a beautiful thing where you're able to tell, let's say the customer might want to put a fence in. You can use that information to say, hey, I know the size of your yard. This is what it is. And they would be impressed with that because nobody else actually that cut their grass in the past would even have that type of information to give them. You know what I mean? So like I told, like you heard me say earlier, the one thing that makes you different is the one thing that makes you successful. So I was telling him, I said, man, I can see that blowing up as for you doing that. And a lot of customers coming your way because that one little thing that no one else is doing, you give them that information where they can use later for something else, So, once again, in your fields, man, just look at what everybody else is not doing and make, and just like, my business, it's just that I looked at, what people are so used to. So I try to do things different than anyone else, and luckily because of those things, um, I've been doing it for quite a while, and people have been happy with it. I haven't had one complaint. I thank the man upstairs for that. But it's nice seeing this technology change as it is. It does make our jobs easier, regardless of what business you're in. When you look at trucks changing, now you got 18 wheelers now don't have, and I think it's California. They're trying this out in another country too, where that now there's not drivers behind the seats now, you know. So all that's self-driving trucks, man. So it's nice seeing a lot of that stuff. The thing is that I can see, matter of fact, down the street. I think I told Buffalo Picker about this back here maybe about a year or so ago. They had this, I call it the egg. It's the security robot, if you'll call it that. It's about 6 feet tall. And I can see that at some point that's taking the place of policemen. With all some of the things that you see going on, I can see that happening, where that's where it takes the whole attitude and all the other stuff that goes into it today. I can see that changing, because technology is changing. And I think that at some point you're going to see more cities run that way, go that way. Because one, it's going to save them money. I don't know how much a policeman make, but I can see that, hey, price-wise and some of the issues that y'all guys have, could solve a lot of that, But that's the nice thing about this whole technology thing.
What security software do you use? Like, what's the best security software? There was a question in the chat about that.
Now, are we talking about computers or are we talking about security for homes?
Either one.
Well,
it says software. The
yeah. So software. As for computers, as for the computer, not since the computers, I will say this now, since you brought that up too, is that cameras, for example, I got three different types of. I got Swan, I got Blank, I got Ring, I got another. I got four right there actually around the house. I got different ones. But I will tell you this though. Depending on the carrier you have as for your internet, I mean the AT&T, Charter, Comcast. Comcast has something that's very unique. For example, they have this thing called advanced security, which is great. You just basically just cut it on, it's totally free. The coolest thing about that software that blows my mind, and I have a problem with it, all the time. Well, not with the software, but it gives me information I didn't even know. So, for example, I got a situation where, um, if I was in your face, I'll show you. But it shows you the countries, give you the IP addresses of the people that's attempting to try to get into your system, which is cool. And it does the blocking, and they tell you what, they give you advice what you need to be doing. But see, without that, I had another service before. I'm not called the company name, but it was pretty cool to say, hey, this is refreshing, man, to know that on average I've been having probably maybe 20 or 30 hits a week where somebody's tempted to get into that particular camera system. And I think the reasons why for it, because that particular camera system has a DVR hard drive, and I think that's the probably reasons why they pretty much eyeing that compared to the other ones, of course. So, but it's stuff like that, man. It's definitely unique. I give them guys thumbs up at that company because that is big time. I remember, I try to remember there's another software did something similar back here in 2001. I can't remember the name at the top of my head, but I'll remember it in a minute. That did something similar where it gives you the IP address of the people that's trying to, person that's trying to get into your system, that type of thing. So seeing that what Comcast is doing, it's a mind blowing thing. But the bad thing is not a lot of people know it. I think they need to do a better job letting them know. And I think for other companies that have virus programs, they can offer their customers. I think they need to do a better job letting people know that, because some of them buying the same software out of a store or downloading it, where your company that gives you internet can give it to you for free. And there's so many people buying the exact same one they can actually get for free, which is crazy. But I would think that would be a selling point for them, but they're not really doing that.
So as far as computers, would you think like Norton's a good one, or what's a
With
good?
computers by Dell, HP, of course, Asus is a good one. Lenovo is a good one. IBM, of course, is a good one. I probably would tell you those four brands are probably when
No, I'm
people
talking about
ask.
like security software for your
Uh,
computer.
well, security software. Norton is great, but Norton, the problem is depending on how much RAM you got, it tends to take up a lot of memory on startup, and it tends to slow the computer down. So Norton is a great product, but that's the thing that bothered me with them. McAfee has really come a long way in the last 2 years, so I would probably tell you McAfee. Plus, the pricing is pretty great. You can find it online, I think, for like $19 now. So that's the one I would go with. Um, and so, but all these software do have their issues. Back here, maybe about 6 years ago, I learned this by accident, where for whatever reason, um, the virus programs or viruses that was on one particular system, I put a program was called Avast, for example, and it's really for free. It don't cost next to nothing. And I was trying to figure out why something like this that's free didn't pick up on something that you're paying $39 for. you know, and a lot of it is because behind the scenes, the server download whatever they find that's out there that you need to be, your system need to defend itself against, and then your system pretty much downloads. Is pretty much what it is. So, the thing of it is that, like I said, the best one, in my opinion, not I should say best one, the one that's just reasonable. I would probably tell you McAfee in that sense because it's reasonable price. It works pretty doggone good. They got this thing for a lot of them now have the web advisor, which is great. Will help you in some cases where you got people trying to get into your system, or either at website that has been hacked, or a case where you go into a website, also you get this pop up saying to call this number as Windows, as Microsoft, and you call this number. So a lot of that stuff can be blocked by that software. So like I said, it's reasonable in price. It's pretty good, man, and it's probably
Hey,
cool. Go ahead.
hey, Jim. Jules put a comment in the chat. She said the Norton, you cannot eliminate all the program. It won't let you delete it. leave too many pieces behind. So, do you have a solution for that?
Well, they Norton has a program you go to their site and download, and once you download it, it actually will take all those components off. Because other than that, you had to use a third party program to remove it. Because every now and then I do run into cases where a particular program is on the system, it's hard to take it off, and I have to use third party software. But when it comes to Norton, you should be able to go to the website. There's a component that you got to download, and then once you download it, actually that's the way to take it off.
Appreciate you coming out, Betty Boo. Enjoy your weekend. Um, so like I said, we're gonna have to bring this show to a close early this week. And the reason being is I supposed to do a live whatnot auction tonight. Originally had it scheduled for 9:15, but I have got a lot of response from people saying that they cannot see it. For some reason, I can see it on my end, but you all cannot see it. So I'm gonna have to jump off of here and try to troubleshoot that with Derek and see if we can get it up. If not, I'm gonna send a blast out on Instagram and let you all know it's been canceled. Uh, but before we get into that, to close it out, I want to go around the room. If you got something to plug, go ahead and plug it. I know Jennifer has dropped your Instagram for the Computer Geeks of Georgia. And if you're in the chat and you're not following this guy, he put out a lot of good information every morning on Instagram. Go ahead and add him to your Instagram, and so that you can get some of this information. You never know when you may need it. So let's push it up. Try to get at least 100 followers from tonight's show, because you can follow and then you can share with your friends and have your friends to follow and family members. So if you got anything to plug, Glass City, we're gonna go with you and then work our way around the room, and then we're gonna close out the show.
Thanks for coming on the show, Jim. I appreciate the information that you put out, man. Real interesting. And I'll be at you with my speaker. I'll be at you. Other than that, I just wanted to say, man, glad to see y'all and come hang out with y'all. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
All right.
I'm done.
All right, Mess All Digs. Just want to shout out Picking in the Hood too for sending me the shirt I'm wearing tonight. Chucky Charms, I appreciate you, big brother, for always looking out. We all take care of each other in this resale world. Buff, they want that time again for your whatnot. They're saying in chat, drop that time again.
Yeah, so 9:30. I moved it from 9:15 to 9:30. If I cannot get it up and ready to go by 9:15, I'm gonna send a blast out on Instagram to let you all know that it's gonna be pushed to another day. But yeah, I'm pretty much set up. See if I can move the camera over there. This is my little station over here to the I guess to my right, to your left. But I just need to get the program straight on here, and I can see that I'm live, but the public can't see it, and hopefully Derek can walk me through it so I can get it straight. But like I said, by 9:15, if I don't have it up and running, I'll send a blast out. If you don't hear from me, that means it's still on for 9:30.
Well, thank you for Buffalo Picker for having me on the show, and for the people out there, technology-wise, visit my site, Computer Geeks of Georgia. I put up blogs basically daily. It's nice reading about the what's out now and some of the things security-wise you need to watch out for. So it's just sometimes I just love putting it out there where people can have as much information as they need to know what's out coming out future-wise, and also to keep themselves protected.
All right. Ms. Hall, any update on the restaurant?
No, just a lot of roadblocks, man. You know, that's how it goes, though. You know,
right.
we try to knock down these barriers they keep putting in front of us. It's a lot, right. But we okay. We can be all right.
What type of restaurant you opening?
So I'm opening a restaurant in Hopkinsville. It's going to be just a casual dining place, burgers, wings, stuff like that. But it's a work in progress. Camel Caravan on Instagram if you want to check it out.
Okay, yeah. Restaurant wise, man, back in the day, I even did that.
Yeah,
At three different locations, man. But I will say, you already know that it's work, man.
it's a
I had no
journey.
clue what I was getting into, man. So I had no clue how much work it is.
It's a lot of work. A lot of work.
All right. And speaking of roadblocks, man, I was having a conversation with Jim the Tech um, a couple of days ago, and we was talking about that. I was mentioned that the road to success is always under construction. You're gonna run into roadblocks. You're gonna run into bumps in the road. The road is not paved where you're gonna have a smooth ride. And we all face that at some point. It's all about being, uh, showing your perseverance and getting past that. And I know the fortitude that you have with those 20 years instilled in you from the military, you're gonna get around that roadblock.
Oh,
So we
definitely.
definitely waiting to hear, hey, this is where we're at, and opening day is around the corner.
Yep.
So, like I said, I don't care. Well, let me take that back. I said, once you tell me it's opening day, we're gonna be on the road coming. But if it's in October, December, when it's snowing up there, oh no, we are not coming around no mountains in the snow. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got you.
But
I can't have you come out during Q4 anyway.
And if it was easy, everybody be doing it.
But I definitely want to thank everybody for coming out. Like I said, with this show here in Glad City, Mess Hall Digs, we say it all the time. We try to bring people on this show that's going to be transparent and keep it 100 with everybody here. So, and that's what we aim to do. Jim came tonight. He brought in a lot of information. Some, include myself, is going to have to go back and watch this video again because he was just dropping so much information when it comes to the technology world and some of the choices that we should be making when we're looking at different types of products that we're going to buy here to improve, our resale business. But with that being said, I thank you all for coming out. Buffalo Picker, Glass City Pickers, Mess Hall Digs, Defend the Hustle. See you all next week.